So what measures has the government put in place to help provide a safe environment for learning in Lagos State, for instance?
Thank you very much. But before I go into the measures government is putting in place
Okay.
to provide a safe and secured
Yeah.
learning environment, I want to take us back to the issue of peace education, because it's a germane issue that we should not just brush aside. Peace education is deliberately focused on prevention of crisis. Unlike conflict resolution, that is aimed at managing crisis, managing conflicts. When you talk about peace resolution, peace education, it's about imbibing in education peaceful ways of molding a child such that our reaction to issues will be moderated by our knowledge. You don't just react haphazardly to issues. You are trained to be able to analyze issues. You are trained to be able to tolerate others irrespective of the difference in your ideology or in your values or in your opinion or culture or anything. So peace education is deliberately focused on as a way of creating a peaceful future, such that you rather than seeing it as a resolving tool, it's preventing issues to come up.
In the future.
So that is peaceful education. And that is why it is emphasized that every child must be exposed to it. So if everybody is exposed to education, then we are saying by the time they grow up, the conflicts here and there will reduce, because I will no longer be thinking of myself again. My education will have given me some basic knowledge that will make me to be mindful of other people's opinion and even tolerate little excesses here and there. Then for what the government is doing about provision of
A safe environment
safe environment.
for learning.
Fortunately, I work with Quality Assurance Office, and part of my responsibility is to go about schools and ensure that our learners there are safe. Yes, like I said, we are not yet there, but the basic things must be provided for the learner to be safe. A child should not leave his home or her home and feel insecure that I may be kidnapped or anything can happen to me. No parents will release his or her child if that is what we have. So essentially, the government, if you look at the structures, you look at the teachers that they put in place, even during the COVID period, like Dr. Pascal said, that the teachers were let loose. No. In fact, government invested so much in training teachers during that period. Of course, we have the issue of connectivity and the internet access, because I would tell you some of these teachers will still complain, I don't have a good phone, I don't have, but looking at the efforts of the government, and I don't want this discussion to be centered only on the government activities. For us to be able to move, for us to be able to achieve this 2030 dream, every one of us must be involved. What is my role? What is your role? What is the government's role? What is the parent's role? Everybody must play his or her role. Yes, the government has provided the school. The government has built the structure. The government has put a security man at the gate. The government has put teachers there. We have gone further to say, let's have safety officer. Apart from having a counselor in the school, let's appoint somebody as a safety officer whose primary role is to ensure that the learners are safe. You go out of your way to encourage the learners to express whatever issue they feel that is militating against their safety. So for the part of the government, I will not say they have done enough, but I want to believe that every one of us, if we play our role, as a parent, if I take care of my child, I am also particular about the safety of that child. And also we go about to even train that child about self-safety. Dr. Pascal is involved, Mr. Akinola is involved, Amarachi is involved, Mrs. Sonny is involved. You discover that our school will become safe. It's a different thing. It's a different thing when we say a school is being attacked and everybody in that community doesn't feel that it's their business. You see that it's a challenge. That means they don't claim ownership of that school.
Thank you.
So it involves all of us, not just the government.
Just to make a clarification or a point of correction, I didn't say that the government there was not teacher professional development all along. All I'm saying that during that shutdown, where because in response to the COVID-19, he asked both students and their teachers to stay at home, including workers.
Okay.
Now during that period, the only option that was available to the government or to the private sector is digital learning.
Yeah.
Some could organize that for their teachers to upscale their skill, but essentially, the point must be in the public schools. Private school one can understand, but in the public schools, right, this was not the case, and I can tell you that. Because you know that in the public school, when you are talking about 1,000 pupils or students with 10 teachers, you are not talking about safety, right? What I think we should be, that question is asking is during the COVID, how prepared are the public schools? One, do they have face masks? The children, can they afford it? Two, do they have running water and soap? Three, simple hygiene toilets and the rest of them. Do they have all those in places? So for me, most of the public schools don't have this. Private school, yes. Most of the private schools don't have this. And the reason why public schools don't have this, right, is number one, that the resources or the budget for education annually is still very low. We need to spend more on education. There is financial crisis in education worldwide. And in the third world country, it's even more. I agree with her that financial of education should not be left to the government alone. Talking about public schools, it should be a collective responsibility, right, of parents, the government themselves, OBOES or OGES association, NGO like you, and of course, private initiative by way of partnering with the private sector organizations. All hands should be on deck in financing education. But having said that, the government has a responsibility to ensure that public education is available to the school age population in any nation.
Thank you.
I think that the point must be made.
Thank you, sir. So we've heard it all from you. Public and the government needs to put a lot of things in place so as we private sectors and NGOs we have to come together to work with the government to make education reach out to as many children who haven't gotten education yet.